Hello everybody, my name is Brandy. I'm with Brushed by Brandy. I'm a Dixie Belle brand ambassador and I'm a furniture painter out of Sacramento, California. And as promised, I'm going to be live on the Dixie Belle page every Thursday evening at the same time in the month of January. And we are going to take a piece, this piece here, we're going to take it from start to finish. So by the end of the month, if you catch all of these lives, you will have a start to finish tutorial on the look that we're going to do. So I put a poll up on my page, which is Brushed by Brandy, a poll of what finish people would like to see. I gave you a couple options. One was a patina option.
Somebody says hi.
Hi. You guys, my son Noah is here. He's 10 years old. My 10-year-old Noah is here to help me answer questions and read your comments as we go through. So I put a poll up on my page that asked what type of finish you guys would want to do, because really this is going to be a piece we can do whatever we want with, so I can teach on it. And the choices were a patina finish. What do you need, sweetie?
So Sammy coughed when it was Christmas. She was sick.
Oh, okay. Let me finish, okay? Sorry, you guys, this is not going well so far. Kids. I have kids. Back on track. The choices were a patina paint finish or a blended look finish, and by far the blended was the most popular on that poll. So if this goes well and you guys like it, then I'll keep giving you options for what you guys want to learn as far as finishes, but the blended finish went out this month. So we are going to take this piece. I chose this piece because it was a good size for me to show on camera to teach. Versus like a full-size dress or something that I wouldn't be able to finish in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to start tonight. We're going to learn how to prep a piece. You guys come on and like this post, share it if you think it's helpful, and then like my page at Brushed by Brandy. And I'm also going to be giving away an 8-ounce of Dixie Belle paint in your choice of color tonight. As we get towards the end of the broadcast, I'll choose a winner for that if you've liked and shared this post. And then come on and let me know you did it too. Okay, so back to my piece here. So I chose this piece because it was a reasonable size for me to teach on camera, and I'm going to mostly work on the front side of it. This is a fairly modern piece. I would say it's, as far as era, it's probably from the 1980s, 1990s.
The video is a little blurry, so I'm going to try to...
It's a little blurry. Okay. Did that help? If I move, does it help? Is it the focus or is it the connection?
Everybody's saying it's blurry.
But it's clear on our end?
Yeah.
Okay, try to connect to the Wi-Fi and see if that helps. Sorry guys, we're going to try to get it clear before I start showing you anything, because nobody likes watching a blurry video.
What?
And then,
There we go. Okay, now it's just reconnecting issues. All right, let's try that.
okay, so come on you guys and tell us if that helped at all. Is it still blurry? Let me know. Okay. So I feel like with prep, people want a one-size-fits-all answer with how do you prep a piece, and there is no one-size-fits-all answer. How you prep a piece depends on your piece. So there's a lot of analyzing that you have to do when you first look at a piece to decide what does your piece need. So I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to make those choices on this particular piece, but your prep is really specific to the piece you're going to be working on. So I'm looking at this piece. It's fairly modern. It's from the 1980s, maybe 1990s. It's made Calzone, Europa. It's not a super old piece. I'm not worried about bleed through on this piece. It's not an old raw wood like a mahogany that has a red tint to it that could bleed. The tannins could seep through my paint. This is a fairly modern finish. Bleed through is not something I'm worried about. If I was, Dixie Belle Boss would be part of my prep. I feel like when you prep a piece, it's almost like a flow chart where you say, you know, does it have this? Yes. If so, you use, you know, Boss. Then you'll go to, is it a slick surface like an MDF or a laminate? No, this is a solid wood piece. It has a finish over it. It's in fairly good condition. So no, it's not a super slick surface where I would need to use slick stick. So you need to ask yourself these questions and analyze your piece before there's a one-size-fits-all answer about prep. But Dixie Belle Boss and Slick Stick are two options, but I don't need them for this particular piece. Now, one thing I do need is Dixie Belle White Lightning. I use this on just about every piece that I do. Dixie Belle White Lightning is a granulated cleaner. Can you guys see that in there? It's probably the consistency of a coarse salt. And there's instructions on this. Dissolve 2 heaping tablespoons of White Lightning per gallon in hot water. So I take and I dissolve my White Lightning into a spray bottle. And then I've got this readily mixed and available for cleaning my pieces.
So a quick question.
Yeah.
Shannon's wanted to know with Boss, can you use it and sand back when distressing to wood?
You can. So Dixie Belle Boss comes in clear. This is actually the clear. It looks white in the container, but when you put it on, it'll go on clear. If you want to see your wood underneath, I would recommend using Dixie Belle Boss in clear, because you can distress back to the wood and it'll have the boss over it. If you want to expose wood and you're not going to paint over it, that's okay too, because even if you have bleed through, you're not putting paint over it to where it would bleed through the paint. You're trying to keep the tannins from your wood from seeping through into your paint. So you need this where you need a barrier between your wood and your paint. That's your barrier. So you got your wood, you need a barrier, and then you can put your paint on top. That's what the Boss does. It closes up that wood. But this comes in clear. If you want to distress down to your wood, you can use a clear Boss. I like using white Boss too for when I just want an extra layer. You want a layered look in your paint because you can see that white underneath too, and it's just an extra color for your finish. So sometimes I use Boss to my advantage. So this piece right here, like I said, fairly modern finish. What I start with, I need to take my hardware out. So I'm going to take my fancy pink DeWalt drill. You guys, my husband made me these for Christmas. We joke all the time about me having my own set of power tools because we were sharing. And I said, I need to get pink ones so that you know which ones are mine. And DeWalt makes their power tools in yellow. So he took this apart and he painted my drill pink for me. So I have pink drills now. So I'm going to start by taking off all my hardware on this. And what I do for hardware is I will take a dish like this and I go straight from taking my hardware off and it goes right into a dish. All of my screws and my hardware will all go together. And this way I can know that it's come straight from my piece and gone into that dish. Because you know once you set a piece of hardware down somewhere, you're never going to, a piece ends up lost without a doubt.
I just need to interrupt you because Jamie says he's a nice guy. Yeah, that's true. I know him personally.
Guys, my comment reader's a little bit biased. So my suggestion to you is don't flatter him, otherwise I'll never hear the end of it. This piece of hardware is stuck.
I didn't design it for that.
Yeah, it's probably my drill doesn't work right. I probably got the broken one. No, it was just like stuck in the finish of the piece itself. So that's off. And then, you guys, while I'm doing this, I'm also looking at my piece. I'm noticing any parts of it that might need repairs or sanding. This is a great time to do this. So right now, as I'm taking this hardware off, I'm noticing this front drawer doesn't sit in the glide very well. So this glide is going to be something that I need to do a repair on. So this is a great time to get acquainted with your piece and see what you're going to need. Once my hardware is off, it's in my dish. This is going to stay with my piece the entire way through my project. How I clean hardware is I will soak this in a mixture of white vinegar and water. I will soak it overnight, and then I'll come back and just scrub it with like an SOS pad, a Scotch pad, and it will just clean it. And then if I want to spray paint it or I want to get it back to the original finish or put gilding wax on it, no matter what, it needs to be cleaned. You want to get all those finger oils off of the hardware. So now my hardware is removed. I'm going to take my White Lightning cleaner.
Sorry, Carla says she needs some purple painted tools. Wanting to know if I'm taking orders. I take orders, but they're of a different kind.
Yeah, he only takes orders from me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, it depends, because I will hustle it out if it pays well. I'm not above it. So I like to wear gloves when I'm using white lightning. It is a chemical mixture. They do recommend wearing gloves with it. I just like to keep my manicure pristine. Just kidding. I look homeless all the time. And then I just spray my piece down with my mixture of Dixie Belle White Lightning. And make sure I get good coverage on it. And then I like to take a piece of steel wool. This is really fine steel wool. I'm not trying to be abrasive to my piece at all. I just want to use this to loosen up any dirt that's on my piece that might be stuck. So now I'm going to scrub it clean. I can tell already, you guys, that this has some funky stuff coming off of it. Yeah, watch this right here.
Yeah, you can see in the center.
This? You might have thought that was part of the original finish.
Let me zoom into the grime.
Yeah. Look how dirty my stuff is. Just kidding. So watch when I wipe this back. You can see from this drawer that I've not cleaned to this one that I did just clean, this is disgusting. And even if this is just part of the finish that has degraded, or if it's dirt and grime, it might even be where somebody at some point tried to put like a not a retique, but like a gel stain or something over the finish. Either way, it needs to come off. It's coming off like dirt, but it might be a product that someone at some point had put this on. You never know what people have done with their furniture, so you know, it could be pledge, it could be 50 years of furniture pledge on a piece, and no matter what, you need to remove it. I told you guys I was going to do this piece from start to finish, and I'm going to. I will not work on this piece over the course of this month without you guys watching me, unless I am just finishing up a step that I've already showed you, but I just want to get it done, say on the sides or something. So this is going to need a really thorough cleaning, and it may be that I need to go over this, you know, 2 or 3 times before I feel confident that this is clean. Your finish is only as good as your prep. So this part sucks. I hate doing it, but I will not spend hours trying to get a smooth, beautiful paint finish on a surface that it's not even going to adhere to. You see all the time people having problems with paint adherence. It all goes back to your prep. It all goes back to your prep.
So now, go back over it. You're using what now? You're using steel wool.
Steel wool and Dixie Belle White Lightning Cleaner. I'm only using the steel wool because I want to loosen up any stuck on grime. Just like you're cleaning your dirty bathtub, you know, that has oils, you know, the ring around the tub. This is the same thing. And this one clearly has a coat of grime on it. This was a...
Oh, that was a beautiful brand new white t-shirt.
Brand new white t-shirt. And look what I'm getting off of this piece. It's disgusting. If that was underneath my paint finish, there's no way my paint finish is going to survive, stand the test of time, if I'm putting it on a surface like this.
Now, go back to your hardware.
Yes.
You mix it with, how do you clean your hardware again, and rough ratios of any?
Roughly 50-50 mix of white vinegar and water, and just let it soak. And the white vinegar is going to eat through any finger oils. Be careful with some screws, because if your screws have steel in them, it will rust in the vinegar. But otherwise, I just soak them in a 50-50 mix of white vinegar and water. There's no paint or anything on this. I just want to get them clean. I want to get any finger oils off of them. Like I said, you just don't know what people do to their furniture. Like I said, I'm guessing somebody tried to use a gel stain or a Howard's refinishing or something, some product it looks like was put on this. I don't think this is the finish I'm taking off. I think it's something someone put on it at some point. Who knows? I wish I could go back and interview people for 50 years ago. How did you care for this piece? But you'll never know. So clean it, because people do weird stuff to their furniture, trust me. You guys, super funny topic. What's the funniest thing you've ever found in a furniture piece? Because this is the time when you're pulling your drawers out, checking them all, and you find some bizarre stuff. I have somebody's DMV registration over there that I found, but I think my favorite bizarre find in a furniture piece is brass knuckles. Where are my brass knuckles? I need them.
I don't know. I was using them earlier.
Yeah. I have a pair of brass knuckles, guys. I'm not bragging, but it's kind of cool. I never thought I'd own a pair. So thank you to whoever left those.
Kind of like a wall of shame. Yeah.
I wear that like a, gosh, I mean, look at the difference. There's some kind of product on this. I have no clue what it is. But there is something on this furniture piece.
You know, the more you talk about the brass knuckles, I realize that's why I just take orders from you.
Because I have breast knuckles?
Yeah.
You're scared me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I mean, now it's all just coming.
Weird stuff in furniture. I have a lot of socks and underwear for sure. Drug paraphernalia. For some reason, everybody keeps their drug paraphernalia in the top drawer of a vintage dresser.
How about a Tiffany box? But it was empty.
Never. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody found one?
Yeah.
Because I haven't. An empty Tiffany
Oh,
box.
how about an old bra and a pay stub from the 80s, huh?
Wow.
Let's hope they were separate.
Winning. You can see I'm scrubbing this piece. I'm glad I'm using, if I was just wiping this down with a paper towel or something, I would not be getting whatever this is off. It's disgusting. Like, look at that. So
Ugh.
gross.
Brand new shirt.
I know, down the tubes. My husband's old laundry is what I use for my rags. That's what my rag pile is. It's all his old white t-shirts. This is going to take some elbow grease, and I thought, oh, if I have time, I will get a first coat on tonight. I'm going to scrub this down again. I will not paint this front. I'm going to keep scrubbing at this because it's so bad, whatever is coming off.
Some people have found teeth in their pieces.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Where are you buying your furniture? Don't go there anymore.
It's from a dentist office.
So I'm going to come back and I'm going to keep scrubbing the front of this because I want it clean. Probably this middle drawer is the most clean of them, but I still have some residue in this crevice right here. I've still got some of this brown, whatever it is. I can still rub it with my finger. So I need to keep cleaning this, and it's going to take some scrubbing. This is not a fun one. So I'm going to turn it over to the side here where it looks like maybe they didn't get to it with whatever product that was. And if I can get this clean, we'll start laying our base coat on over here. Let's see how clean this side wipes. I don't know, I was thinking about it the other night, like it might be a good idea to make up some sort of flow chart. You know what I'm talking about, where if you call tech support for your computer, it's going to say, you know, did you unplug your computer? Yes. If not, then, you know, you kind of have to fill out a check sheet for what your piece needs for prep. Is it a slick surface? Yes. Use slick stick. No. You know, you can move on to the next step. Is it wood that could possibly bleed through? Pine knots can bleed. So, no, I feel like once this is clean, my paint can go right on top of this. Sorry, go ahead.
So, in reference to like the leafing on there and the detail, how do you clean that out?
I'm going to go through this with a brush. I'm going to scrub this out with a brush. I want to get all this clean too.
And what were you spraying?
This is Dixie Belle White Lightning, which is a cleaning product that you mix into water. So I've mixed, White Lightning is a TSP composite. So let's see, it's trisodium phosphate and numerous other inert compounds. So it's made with trisodium phosphate, but it's a lot gentler than just using pure TSP. So you dissolve this into water, spray bottle of water. You can make single uses of it too, but I choose to pre-mix it so I have it for future pieces as well. This is an 8-ounce container. It's a relatively inexpensive product. It works phenomenally. I don't know what this product is, but if I was just cleaning this with water, that would not have come off. So it cuts through just about everything. On this one, I'm going to need a couple applications of it, but I know I'm going to get this clean. So once I've applied my White Lightning, I come back with water because I want to rinse off any residue from the White Lightning itself. That's still a residue on your product. Even if it's a cleaning residue, it's still a residue. So I will come back with a water or a soap and a water mixture, and I will just wipe my piece clean of the residue from the cleaner. So, like I said, you don't know what people have done to their pieces. It looks like somebody has sanded this at some point. Like somebody tried to make it better and probably made it worse. How many of us end up going back and fixing other people's mistakes at some point? Okay, so this side I feel like is nice and clean. It doesn't have the same dark brown that this one has. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about choosing colors too. On the Dixie Belle color card, there's 60 plus colors on here. People will come to me and ask, what color should I make something? It's not that simple, because you can take a color like Dixie Belle Driftwood, and I could blend this into any combination of colors. I could blend this into a blue. I could blend it into a green. I could blend it into a darker gray. I could blend it into a brown. I mean, it's not as simple as, you know, giving a list of colors, because do you want your blue to go into purple, or do you want your blue to go into more blues? You kind of have to decide at least your main color. I want blues. Okay, let's find a combination made up of blues. When you're choosing your colors, you also have to be aware of, when you blend two colors together, what do those colors make when you put them together? This is Plum Crazy and Bunker Hill Blue. They're a beautiful color combination, but when I blend these together, it's going to make a purple. Red and blue make purple. If you don't want purple, then you can't use these together because they're going to make purple when you put them together. Yellow and blue make green. You have to be aware of what colors, when you put them together, what's it going to do? If I put tonal colors together, this is Spanish moss and coffee bean, I'm going to get a lighter tone in between. The Spanish moss is going to lighten up the coffee bean. So you just need to be aware of what you're going to turn your color into, blending it with something else. I gave you guys a couple color combinations for us to choose from tonight. Let me know how well the colors show up on camera. So my first combination, this is a choice. You guys get to help me make this choice, is In the Navy, Savannah Mist, and Driftwood. So this would be a really muted blue color palette. I think these would work good together. So let me know if you like In the Navy, Savannah Mist, and Driftwood. Or if you wanted to go more into the beigey browns, I chose Coffee Bean, Spanish Moss, and Burlap. I thought those would be a good color combination too. I brought these out just so you can see. I mean, when you're choosing colors, you want to choose things that have the same tone. So, for example, the Bunker Hill Blue and the Plum Crazy, they're both very rich, saturated colors, whereas, you know, these could be blended too, but, you know, you want to kind of keep them in the same tone, because, for example, if I was to put a yellow with this, I would probably choose Colonel Mustard because it's a little more saturated than, say, a really pale yellow like Lemonade. You want to try to keep them in the same tone family. So these are very saturated colors. These are both pretty muted color palettes. I don't know, do you guys have any input? Which one do you like?
So far, it's the In the Navy combo.
In the Navy combo? I probably like that one too.
It's between that and the Spanish Moss Burlap.
Yeah, I still have to sell this piece in the end, so so I try to pick things that would go, you know, I think blues can be a neutral. Navy is a really nice, popular, and it can be a neutral too, while also being a pop of color. So this is a great blue color palette. But the beiges could also be very neutral too. So when I'm laying on a base coat, I have a nice clean surface here. It's not slick. I don't need slick stick. I don't think I'm going to have bleed through. I'm ready for paint. Dixie Belle itself the paint doesn't require prep, but your piece may require prep underneath it, certain types of prep. Otherwise, you can just clean and paint. So you really need to be aware of what your piece needs. My lid is stuck. Always. So I'm going to open up my 3 paint colors, which I chose In the Navy, Savannah Mist, and Driftwood. You'd think I'd be used to opening these by now. I'm also kind of craving, I want to do a piece in like greens that lean kind of gray, but I think this is a beautiful combination. Does that show up on camera?
The sheen's a little off.
Yeah. Can you guys see those three together? So this is In the Navy, Savannah Mist, and Driftwood. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to start with my Savannah Mist because I want that to kind of be my main color. If I wanted this to be dark, lean darker, I could start with my In the Navy because I wanted to be heavier on that. But Savannah Mist is my medium tone. That's where I'm going to go with this color palette. So I'm going to start, I'm using 3 colors, but I'm going to start with my medium tone. I'm laying this on with my Dixie Belle, this is their Dixie Belle Mini. This is my favorite brush, you guys. Of the new Dixie Belle brushes, this is my absolute favorite for laying paint on. It lays your paint on really smooth. I'm going to keep my paint moist because I'm introducing other colors to this. And I want to keep my paint moving. I don't want it to start setting up. I'm just going to paint this square right here since I still have prep I need to go back and do to finish this. So I want to make sure I'm getting nice, good coverage. I choose 3 colors because if you think of it like ladies, we go get our hair done all the time, and you can get highlights in your hair, which are lighter tones, and you can get lowlights in your hair, which is a darker tone. So I try to choose a highlight and a low light. Any more colors than that, than the 3, it can kind of get busy. I'm going to get into this little crevice right here. Adding water to keep my paint moving. Adding water also helps you to get into crevices. My piece itself has a little bit of texture to it. And keeping my paint wet helps me get into that texture. This is just my base coat. I'm talking a lot, huh? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Oh.
shut up, woman.
Where do you get the paintbrushes?
These are available through my affiliate link, which I posted at the top of this post. These are available through Dixie Belle. So all of the products I'm using tonight are Dixie Belle products. The White Lightning, my 3 paint colors, and I'll post these so you guys have a materials list for this look when we're done. But it could change, you know, for example, if I'm going through and I don't like these colors, they may change by the end if we want to introduce something else because it doesn't look good together. A base coat is when I'm really feeling out my colors, laying them out onto my piece. How does it look? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just my base coat. I'm feeling out my look.
Now, how do you, as far as your, when you're painting, how do you avoid your streaks? Like you change direction and whatnot. How do you get it to blend to where you don't see the starts and stops of the color?
I'm going to show you guys that. We'll get there. You're getting ahead of the crowd. So I'm going to introduce my next color, which is In the Navy. So I'm just laying it on right now. This is not the look I'm going for by any means. So I'm going to get it nice and laid out so I've got it on my piece. I try to only work with 2 colors at a time. So even though I have 3 colors in my palette, my paint's getting a little sticky. If you feel it start to drag, add water. I'm just laying it out right now. Let me get it into this crevice. You can see my In the Navy is already mixing with the Savannah Mist and creating a lighter blue. So I'm going to keep it wet. It's kind of dragging. All right. How does it look? Are we done? You guys like it?
Abstract.
Yeah. So yes, I do change the direction of my brush strokes. So I'm going to kind of work these together. I try to only work 2 colors at a time. I'm not introducing my 3rd color yet. I want to get these ironed out before I introduce that next color. So you can see I used In the Navy, but because I'm brushing it into Savannah Mist, I have to be aware of what those 2 make together. So the Savannah Mist lightened up my In the Navy, and I've got kind of this medium blue color now. So once I've got that laid on, and I'm going to do 2 coats of this. This is just my base coat. But I'm going to take a completely dry brush. Completely dry. There's nothing on here. It's not damp, nothing. And I'm going to blur these out. It's like an eraser, and I want to erase. I'm erasing the transitions. I think it's like an eraser. This is just my base coat. It does not have to be perfect. I'm not trying to get it absolutely perfect on this coat. My second coat is going to be where I want to perfect all of this. If I feel like it's getting too dark, I can come back with my Savannah Mist. I'm using a separate brush for each color. I can come back with my Savannah Mist and add a little bit of that lighter tone. You guys, part of this is having the right tools to work with. Dixie Belle paint blends beautifully. It's why I'm so successful with this look with Dixie Belle, because it's the paint, you guys. Not all paints do this. You cannot work with all paints the same way. Some have strengths and weaknesses that others don't have. And Dixie Belle blends beautifully. So now if I wanted, say, my corners to be a little darker, I can introduce a little more of the in the navy, and I can make those a little more pure. Just laying out my color scheme. This is not my final finish. Do I like these colors? Do I want to lighten it? Is this what my customer wants? This is all feeling out the color scheme you chose. So that's really pretty. It's not perfect. That's okay. This is just my base coat.
How many brushes are you currently using right now?
3 colors. I'll use 3 brushes plus my dry brush. So total of 4. 1 for each color plus my eraser. My eraser, you guys, is a Dixie Belle oval medium. I like these because it's a nice full thick brush and it just smoothly erases those blending lines. I need a 3rd brush. Let me reach over here. So now I'm going to start working in the driftwood. I was silver leafing and some of my silver leaf just got on my piece. You guys saw my last video. I was silver leafing the last time I painted. Okay, there was one spot there. I just took my eraser and I just erased those lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't stress on your base coat.
Are those brushes synthetic?
These are synthetic brushes. I paint with synthetic brushes. For your eraser, if you wanted to use the natural bristle brushes also work for this purpose, but for laying the paint on, I think it goes on smoother with a synthetic brush. And the Dixie Belle synthetic brushes were made for their paint, so they just are the best tool to have. I'm going to introduce a little bit of my driftwood. This is going to be my lighter tone, so I just got a little bit on my brush, and I'm going to brush it into the center here. So here's what I noticed right off the bat. That driftwood looks really similar to the Savannah Mist. It's barely any different. This is where I'm gonna choose to make a color change. I tried something, I don't care for it. I can't see that highlight as much as I want. So give me 1 second and I'm gonna choose a different shade to go in the center. Okay. My favorite of the Dixie Belle whites is drop cloth. It never fails me. So I'm going to put away the driftwood. This is why I didn't give you guys a materials list. It evolves. Your pieces evolve as you work on them. I'm going to put away the driftwood and I'm going to get out drop cloth. I'm going to use the same brush I was using on the driftwood because I barely had any paint on it.
Oh, we have a visitor. Kristana says hi.
Hey girl! Guys, I'm painting with Kristana on the 6th. Hope you guys will watch us. We're going to have fun. If you hope to learn any really sophisticated techniques, don't drop in that night, but we will have a good time. Okay, so this is the drop cloth. I like it much better. It's more impactful. If I'm going to blend in a 3rd color, I want to know it's there. Okay, this looks terrible. It looks terrible, but this is my base coat. It's enough that when I come back to put a 2nd coat on, I've got colors laid under it. They're in their general right places, and then when I come back to paint my next coat, it's kind of laid out. This is not my final look, you guys. So please be aware of that when I leave you tonight. I told you I'm not going to work on this piece unless I'm on camera with you guys. So this is just our 1st coat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue the things that I showed you tonight. I'm going to scrub the front of this down. It was so dirty I couldn't get it all clean on camera tonight. I'm going to finish scrubbing this down with my white lightning. I will lay a base coat on it, and next time you see this piece, it's going to be all base coated. Same way we just did this one side here. Okay? And the next time you see it, it will be entirely base coated, and we will go on and do our second coat, and that's where I'm going to really perfect the blending on this look and get those transitions really seamless. But for your base coat, just get your colors light on, get your basic scheme chosen. Make sure you like the colors and how they work together, that they blend into something that's decent, not a funky purple or something you didn't like. So let me know if you have any questions, but that's my basic prep process. It's a flow chart of what does your piece need. Analyze your piece and answer those questions accordingly. If you guys ever have any questions about this process, let me know, because your piece is only as good as your prep, you guys. So come back next week, same time, Thursdays at 9 o'clock this month, and we will do our next step on this piece here. And then when I'm done, I'll put them all together and you'll have a full tutorial on this look. So, who wants to win some paint? I talked a ton tonight, I'm so sorry. Who wants to win some paint? Come on and tell me you've liked and shared this post and you like my page at Brush by Brandy. And you're gonna win some paint. Here, I'll give you this side to look at while I'm choosing. In the navy turns a little purpley when you break it down. Kristana, you want to win some paint? Who wants to win paint? Oh, hey, Gary, I see you in there. All right, you guys, I have a winner. Marianne Shipman Hahn. Marianne, congratulations, sweetie. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. You won an 8 ounce of Dixie Belle paint in your choice of color. So message me on my page at Brushed by Brandy and I'll get your information. We'll get that sent out to you. You guys, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thursdays in January. Come back on the 6th. I'll be with Kristana. Good night. Blech. Have a good night.